sorry to be late. I'm experiencing some tech difficulties. I had some issues with my live feature on YouTube, so I was trying to get it fixed. Let's see. Let me make sure that everything is fixed. I swear, live streaming has always been so hard, and I don't even understand why. Let me see. Just make sure. Okay, good. All right, so you guys can see me. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm sorry for those of you that have been waiting like 14 or so minutes. Deep Mala, thank you so much for messaging me on Instagram. She direct messaged me and she was like, is everything okay? Yes, everything is fine. I just, like I said, I was having some technical difficulties and I was talking to someone on Instagram and they were helping me fix it. So yes, I'm here and it's NaNoWRIMO day 26 and it's the last week of Nano, which is so crazy to me. Like this month has just flown by and I have definitely been experiencing some ups and downs this NaNoWRIMO. I'm not even gonna lie, it's been probably the hardest NaNoWRIMO I've ever done. Just it's not even the story, although the writing has been really tough, especially like not having a plot going into things and having to kind of figure things out as I go and hitting walls. And all of my NaNoWRIMO vlogs will be going up this week, by the way. I have 2 going up tomorrow, and then the rest will be going up all before the 30th. So before Friday, all of my NaNoWRIMO vlogs will be up. So you guys will be able to see what I've been going through this month in the process. But compounded with the story, my mental health just has not been the best. My physical health hasn't been the best. So I've just been going through a lot. And I almost didn't even want to do this live stream, but, you know, just knowing that you guys would be here and we'd have a chance to talk and, you know, interacting with y'all always lifts my spirits and always gets me, like, in a good space. So I knew I definitely wanted to connect with you guys. But it's been a hard month, I'm not going to lie. It's been a good but hard month. And the writing has been just a small portion of it. Usually NaNoWRIMO is like, November is like one of my favorite months of the year. My birthday is on Friday, which is the last day of the month. So I look forward to that all month. And then, of course, I have so much fun writing and being so immersed in storytelling that it just makes for a good month. And my favorite time of year, the holiday season. I enjoy so much this time of year, but it's just been, it's been hard, and I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm just happy to have made it onto here tonight. Last night was tough. I was not feeling well. I took 3 days, not off work, but just kind of worked out so I could get caught up because I was a little bit behind in NaNoWRIMO. If you have been to my author page on the NaNoWRIMO site, don't trust it because I haven't updated my word count in forever. I'm currently at 42K, a little over 42K. So I'm back on track. So I had Friday, I worked Friday, then I had Saturday off, Sunday off, and today off. Been writing and doing other things, but just trying not to succumb to, like, I've been fighting off like a cold, and I usually try to catch my colds early on, and then, like I said, mentally just been going through a lot. So let's see what's going on in the chat as always. Oh, okay, perfect. Y'all are here, which is great. Okay, good. I'm so glad that y'all are here. Deep Mala says, I'm not participating in it anymore. I'm writing some content. I'm pretty slow with it because I have anxiety issues. Yes, girl. Yes. Alyssa, let's see. looks like you guys have been going through it as well. I mean, November has been a tough month for many, many, many of us. Oh, I just got my notification from the NaNoWRIMO page. Oh, if you guys didn't know, I did a video for them. I don't know if I've mentioned that in my last live, but I did a video for NaNoWRIMO. So it's on their main YouTube channel if you want to go check it out. It's a little plug there. But yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough. But it's the last week, and I'm just so happy that I made it to the last week of NaNoWRIMO. There were many, many moments where I did not think I was going to make it, where I almost gave up, to be honest with you. It's not necessarily the writing of the story, like I said, that has been hard. It's been everything else in life that's been going on that has been hard. And there have been so many days that where I have not felt like writing. And it's not like the usual not feeling like writing. Like if you're a procrastinator or if you feel stuck in the story or anything like that, it's more like, you know, me personally, you know, trying to fight off my anxiety, trying to deal with my depression and just trying to get out of bed and just doing the everyday normal things and trying to appear somewhat normal to the outside world, you know, have to go to work and interact with the public and just put on this facade of being okay when you're not okay. And when you're going through those things, it's very hard to then focus on, okay, I'm going to write this story now and I need to get these words in for today. It's very interesting, you know, trying to balance that as a writer. I think I saw someone on AuthorTube, I can't remember who it was, had a video on writing when you have mental illness or when you're dealing with, you know, issues, when you're dealing with your mental health and you also are trying to write and how to balance that. I never did watch that video because sometimes content like that is triggering to me. And it's not necessarily that I don't want to talk about it or hear about it, but it just triggers me in a weird way. So I just stay away sometimes. I have to be in the right headspace to watch that kind of content. Let's see. Okay, looks like you guys are chatting about how things are going in Nano. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's see. Okay, awesome. Alyssa says, I went through 4 days where I didn't write anything. I spent the last 5 to 6 days trying to catch up. Yeah, I mean, it happens. And even though I made a video about tips to win NaNoWRIMO, it's so funny. Don't test the universe. Because I made that video and I put it out there and I was really trying to help people. And mostly I was trying to help people who's, you know, were attempting NaNoWRIMO for the first time. And so I just wanted to put some tips out there that had helped me in the past. And so literally like the second I put that video up, every single tip I had, I broke because of life. Like setting aside a specific time to write every day, yeah, that didn't work. We're going through some changes at my job and we are opening earlier, closing later. The hours have been crazy and we're somewhat overstaffed. So I was picking up crazy shifts. So I really couldn't have a set time to write because it was like, sometimes I would wake up early in the night and that would work. Other days I was so exhausted, there was no way that I could wake up early. So then I would stay up later to write and I'd be so tired when I was writing that I just knew I wasn't writing my best quality of work. Like my creativity would be so drained by the end of the workday. So then I would be like, okay, let me write during work. But then there's so many distractions and there's so many days where I wouldn't even get to take my break because we're so busy. So that wouldn't work. So it was just like, I couldn't find the time. It's like writing before work didn't always work. Writing during work didn't always work. Writing after work didn't always work. So I just kind of had to find the time where I could and still feeling as if I wasn't giving my best self to my work. And there's nothing worse as an artist, as a creator, than feeling like you have nothing left to give. You know, this is the thing you want to do and you don't have it in you to give to it when it's all said and done, because you've given so much of yourself to other things, to your 9 to 5, to your family, to just like life and the things that you're going through, just to trying to get out of bed in the morning and go about your day. So it's very interesting because it was like, okay, so that role didn't work. And then, you know, writing every day didn't work. I went on a great streak there for about 15 to 18 days. And then life came knocking on my door, and it was like, oh, I didn't get to write today, or today, or today. And at some point, I just had to stop beating myself up about it. I was like, you know what? I cannot beat myself up about this. I need to do the best that I can. And for the first time ever, I actually contemplated either A, stopping NaNoWRIMO early, or B, the fact that I probably wasn't going to get to 50,000 words. And there was literally a few days where I just had to sit with that. And I'm such a perfectionist. I'm such like a person that likes to keep a streak going, and I like to win. I'm very competitive, but not with other people. I'm very competitive with myself. And I'm just like, okay, every year I've done NaNoWRIMO, I've won. Okay, I can't let this be the year that I don't win. What do I need to do? And then that puts undue pressure on myself. So there was literally a few days where I just had to sit with the fact of, you may not get to 50,000 words this year. And that does not make you a failure. Yes, you've won every other year, but this is this year, and this is what you're going through today, and this is what's happening now, and this is your life right now. And it does not mean that you are a bad writer. It does not mean that you're a failure. It does not mean that the story is not going to be written. It just means that you may not get to 50,000 words in this NaNoWRIMO 2018, and it is okay. So for those of you who have stopped early or haven't gotten as many words written as you thought you would, fallen behind, life has gotten in the way, your mental health hasn't been doing well, your physical health hasn't been doing well, you've hit a roadblock, or you're just drained, you know, whatever it is, and you stopped, or you've given up, or you are at a point where you know you're not going to get to 50,000 words by Friday, 4 days, I'm here to tell you it is okay. It is completely fine. Coming from me, I am going to give you that space and that allowance for it to be perfectly okay. And it does not mean that your story is not going to get finished. It does not mean that you are a bad writer. It does not mean that you are a failure. It does not mean any of those things. It just means you're not going to get to 50,000 words in NaNoWRIMO. And that's fine. Let's see. Carol Brown says, having self-care days are needed for writers. I know I needed to write in order to cleanse my brain, or I burn out quickly. Alyssa says, yes, if you don't win, you are not a failure. That's something I try to tell myself every day. So true. Press Between the Pages says, I hear you. There have been many days when I haven't had anything to give to writing. I just keep telling myself that I have Camp Nano to look forward to. Absolutely. Like, you know, it's like, it may not happen, and it's okay. You know, it's perfectly fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just NaNoWRIMO. And I think because I honestly feel like this year there are so many people participating in NaNoWRIMO, and I've never felt that before. Like in the previous nanos I've done, yeah, there are people participating, but it's usually like this small community of people that always participate. But this year, I don't know what it is. There are so many people participating, and like on the creator side of things, I really noticed it, because I don't know if you guys have noticed as viewers and or creators yourselves, but there's been an explosion here on our space on YouTube. Like this booktube, authortube space has exploded. We have gotten so much exposure in the last, I would say, 5 to 6 months. We've gotten so much exposure that now it's almost as if we were this hidden secret on YouTube, and now other people are finding out about us. Other sectors of YouTube are finding out about us. You know, the New York Times article that came out, all these different things are happening. And I feel like with the conjunction of AuthorTube, BookTube, and Bookstagram, and even the writing community on Instagram, I don't know what they call themselves. It's like Bookstagram and then what, Writergram? Not sure. I feel like all of these communities, right, have been exposed and have gotten a lot of exposure this year, 2018. So there's been this explosion of new channels being created here on BookTube and AuthorTube in this YouTube space, and new Bookstagram accounts and new writer accounts. And because so many people have their eyes on us now that didn't know about us before, I feel like that only added to how many more people decided to do NaNoWRIMO this year, because so many people didn't know about NaNoWRIMO or didn't care. But you know how it is when there's a trend, when it becomes a wave. And I honestly feel like this BookTube, Bookstagram, WriterTube, Writergram thing is about to become a wave in 2019. I said it here first, folks. Monday, November 26th at 6:29 p.m. Mark my words. it's about to be something. And I feel it. I feel it coming. As someone who has been on this platform for, oh my gosh, since 2014, so 4 years now, I've never felt this same amount of energy and push before. So that, I think that adds to it, honestly. You know, energy is very powerful. And I think that that adds to the pressure that we all feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many people doing it this year. And then, of course, people only present their best. So all I've seen are like blogs of people doing well and writing all these words. And like I go on NaNoWRIMO and people are updating their word counts and they're like, oh, I'm ahead. Oh, I've won already. Oh, I'm 45,000 words. And it's like day 15. There are very few people that I've seen who have documented their struggles. I'm sure they're out there. I probably just don't know about it. But they have documented their struggles and that are saying, you know, I'm not doing well and such, you know, things like that. And so it's like all you're seeing are these highlight reels of people doing really well or, you know, having so much fun or really enjoying their nano. And that adds to the energy as well. And that adds to the pressure. So let's see. Alyssa says, I love that this community is getting bigger. I'm just scared that toxic people will become more prevalent. They will. I mean, I think that, what's his name? Damien. I don't know if you guys watch his channel, but there's a book or a YouTuber. I think his name is Damien, if I'm not mistaken. But he said it best in one of his latest videos where he was like kind of talking about like booktube drama, things like that. And he was kind of piggybacking off of like Reads with Cindy. I think that's her booktube name. She's really blown up recently. I really like her channel. And OhSheReads, they're really like have been the forefront of this like discussion, right, on this space about toxicity and about negativity and booktube drama. Like they're kind of like the face, I feel, of like opening up these discussions and these critiques about our space. And Damien said it best. It's just growing pains, you know. Our community is getting bigger, and that is amazing. We have been this cozy little space for so long, both creator and viewer alike. I've been on both sides, so I can speak to being a creator and being a viewer, as you guys, I'm sure many of y'all can as well, either or both. And with growth comes some pains. You know, we're gonna have some growing pains. We're gonna have some people on here that we're gonna need to check. But I like the fact that we don't feel shy about checking people that need to be checked. And we don't feel shy about talking about things that need to be talked about and critiquing things that need to be critiqued and being honest and just basically keeping this a safe space, because automatically that's what it does. You know, when you feel the freedom to kind of cultivate your space to your liking and make sure that it stays in a positive vibe, then, you know, it creates a safe space for others to do the same, to have their thoughts heard, to have their opinions heard, and also to feel that they will be protected, right? And that people who are toxic will not be entertained, at least not for long. So let's see. Carol says, I'm pretty confident there are people who already had stuff written before they started Nano and use that to give themselves a head start. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Let's see here. So yeah, I'm not going to stay here on here too long. I'll probably just stay until 7, but I just wanted to have this opportunity to convene with y'all because it's been so long. And this last week of Nano, I'm going to be so focused on trying to win. Even though I'm like, I might not win and that's okay. Like, I know myself. Let's not kid myself. I'm not. I know how I am. So, and as long as I try my best, no matter what happens on the 30th, I'm good with. And I go back to work tomorrow. So I have managed to get up to a little over, where did I say I was? I don't remember. 41K, almost 42K. Honestly, I don't know. I looked really fast on my document before I got on here. Let's see if I can find it again, see my official word count. But yeah, so I will be focused on that, and I will be focused on getting these vlogs up for you guys to watch, and I will be focused on planning my content for December for my channel. I'm thinking about doing Vlogmas. Never really done Vlogmas. I did Bookmas, 12 days of Bookmas. I've done that twice. I did that last year. It wasn't very popular. Those videos didn't really get watched. So I don't know if I want to put that much effort into doing it again, only for the low views. That sounds really bad, but it's just facts. I want them to be watched and I want to engage with as many people as possible. Then again, my channel has gone through complete explosion since then. And you know, I have all of y'all now and many of you who didn't know, you know, about me before and things like that. So maybe it'll be worth it this year. But I did 12 days of Bookmas, so that was like 12 days leading up to Christmas with a different bookish/writing video each day, mostly bookish videos. And then Vlogmas is completely different. Vlogmas is literally vlogging every single day until Christmas. And I don't know if I want to do that. It's always something I've wanted to do. I don't know if this is the year for it, simply because of the mental space that I'm in and coming out of NaNoWRIMO. I don't know if I want to put that on myself. That might not be smart. Okay, 42,186 words. So that's where I am currently, 42,186 words. I should just update my NaNoWRIMO, 42,186. So that's not bad. That's where I am right now. So I have a little under 8K to write to get to 50K. Whether that will happen in the next 4 days, no clue. And right now for my birthday, I don't really have any plans. Let's see, 42,186. Don't mind me just updating my word count here on the NaNoWRIMO site. For my birthday, I don't really have any plans. My birthday's on Friday for the actual day. I'm thinking about going to a coffee shop and just getting some writing in, or going to see, I love to go to the movies by myself. Does anybody else like doing that? I love it. I'm thinking about going to see Widows. Is that out yet? I really want to see that movie. I adore Viola Davis and Liam Neeson. Anything he's in or she's in, I'm here for it. So I might go see Widows by myself if it's out, or I might just stay home and finally watch To All the Boys I've Loved Before on Netflix, because I'm so late and I still haven't seen it, and watch some Christmas movies on Netflix. I love Netflix Christmas movies. To me, Netflix Christmas movies are to me what Hallmark Christmas movies are to other people. Or, I don't know. We'll see. I always like to have my birthday off, so I took the day off work, and I like to have it just like a me day and do whatever I want. Maybe I'll go get a massage and facial. I don't know. What do you guys like to do on your birthday if you celebrate your birthday? Some people don't. As I've gotten older, it's just become like a day for me, you know, like gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful I'm still here, and I start my year on my birthday too. That's another thing that I do. My year, for me personally, starts on my birthday. So once Friday comes, my year has officially begun. I do not wait until January 1st. I just don't. So I usually like to kind of take that day to feel grateful and to make goals and plans for the next year, which is so different because when I was younger, I celebrated my birthday for a whole month, y'all. A whole month. A whole freaking month. And I would have parties and outings, and I used to be very social, and I would have different groups of friends. Like, I would have 5 or 6 different groups of friends that I did different things with. Like, I would have like my theater friends and my acting friends and my writing friends and like my friends from childhood and my high school friends. And it was crazy. Like, I had a different group of friends literally for every interest, which looking back, I don't regret. It was actually, I think I encourage people to do that actually. I think it helps you as a person to develop, to meet so many different types of people and to cultivate different interactions and connections with people. I think it helps you in the long run. So I think it definitely helped me be more compassionate and more open person, definitely more giving, and it flexes your social muscles, because I'm so introverted, but I can be extroverted when needed, but it helps my social skills. But anywho's, so I would do that when I was younger, all through my 20s. I don't really do that anymore. Now I'm more chill on my birthday. I have way less friends than I used to have, and I just spend the day by myself. But on Saturday, I'm going out to dinner with my girlfriends, some girls from work that I've gotten really close with in the past few years. So we're having a early 2000s themed like birthday dinner. And that I mean we're going to dinner, but we're dressing, picture like Jennifer Lopez in 2003. Oh, thanks for the birthday wishes, Jocelyn. That's so sweet. Ooh, Cheesecake Factory. Oh, I love going there. I can't order food there though. their menu is so long. They literally have everything under the sun. I can never make up my mind. I'm just like, you have 85 million things on this menu. I'll just get cheesecake. Bye, Alyssa. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Alyssa says, oh, Alyssa, you asked me a question. Have I watched The Princess Switch? I don't know, but she's gone now, I think. Thanks for all the early birthday wishes. Chat is lit as always. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base with y'all. I think I'm going to end this live at 7. I understand that you guys have lives and dinner and things like that, and I don't want to get in the way, and I definitely don't want to get in the way of those that need to still write today. Don't let me enable you, okay? But yes, a little bit more about my story. I finally got through the whole not having a plot thing. The plot has emerged, thankfully. I don't know if I told you guys this in my last live, but I had a dream. I think I did. I had a dream, and the dream helped a lot. The dream gave me my plot, but it didn't give me all of my plot. It just gave me a lot of things, especially with dreams. Like sometimes you can't remember everything when you wake up. So I would say the dream gave me like key points and key elements of things that I wanted to include in my story and kind of showed me where the story is going. And I thought this story was a paranormal romance. And I mean, it is. There are some romantic elements within the story, and there's definitely a romantic subplot. But it's turning into more of like a action-y, adventure-y. Like it involves so much more than I thought it would. The plot is kind of getting out of control because every day, as I write, more and more things emerge and evolve, and things change, and I'm having to tweak things and add things, and this whole world and this whole universe has opened up. It's become very, like, so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be this cute little paranormal romance story about, you know, these two people that meet and all these things that happen after they meet and all that and yada, yada, yada. And it's become this whole intergenerational thing. Like, it's just exploded. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. I'm gonna have to pull a JK Rowling and have like notebooks full of just like world building because, and that's my brain, you guys. I'm like, it's gonna be a simple, cute little story. My brain's like, ha, you thought. No, it's gonna be a huge, huge, huge like world, and we're gonna have a language, and we're gonna have like culture, and we're gonna have like history, and we're gonna have like flashbacks. We're gonna have like a plot spanning like centuries, and just it's crazy. It's crazy. So that has slowed me down a bit, and that has definitely handicapped me in what I can write, because the more I write, the more I realize how much research is gonna have to go into this story, guys. The research, the research, the research. I need to sit down and come up with a plan moving forward, because the story is definitely not going to be done in 50,000 words. I don't even think the story is going to be done in one book. Yeah, it's not. There's no way. There's no way. And the way the characters are evolving, it feels like there's still going to be some major changes, right? Like everyone knows, like your first draft is, you know, somewhat shitty and not really what the final product is going to be. My first drafts tend to be pretty damn good. I'm not even going to lie. Like they just do, because I'm such a calculated person and I put so much effort into plotting prior to writing that by the time I turn out a first draft, it's kind of like from the first draft to the final draft, there are not that many changes made. But with this particular story, I feel like it's going to go through like 3 to 4 different versions before it's finally completed. I've already switched tenses. I was writing in first person. That has gone out the window. And I've learned about myself that when it comes to these huge fantasy-esque type stories, this is a paranormal, but it still has some fantasy elements and even some sci-fi elements, so I don't really know what to call it at this point. I cannot write in first person. I don't know what it is. I can write in first person when it comes to like helping me to get into the character's brain, like, you know, the work you do before you actually write the novel. fleshing out the character, finding out who they are, getting to know them more, getting into their head, and finding out their motivations and their weaknesses, their strengths. I write that stuff in first person all the time, but when it comes down to actually writing the story and plugging in the character to the story, when it comes to this genre, I cannot write in first person. The easiest genre, and pretty much the only genre I write in first person, is contemporary. And I hate writing contemporary. It's so hard for me. I try. I've only written 2 contemporary stories, and one is more of magical realism than anything else. And the second one was this like really cutesy, like romantic comedy. It's like almost a short story, but it's a little bit longer than a short story, but it's not a full-length novel. It's like that weird in between that I wrote for Camp NaNoWRIMO years ago. It was so cute, and that was inspired by a real life situation. So it was very easy to write. And I wrote that in first person, and it was contemporary, and it was great. It was cute. It was funny. But I've never been able to replicate that again. I try, and I've just learned from writing now consistently for the past 4 years that as writers, we go through stages, right? Because we grow. And right now I seem to be in a space where I'm really enjoying writing not in first person and really enjoying writing not contemporary. And that is fine. And maybe things will change in 5 years or 10 years or in 2 years or next year, you know? And this is the season that I'm in right now as a writer. Another huge change is that I've gotten away from writing young adult. And I talk about this a lot more in my NaNoWRIMO vlogs, which you guys will see tomorrow. But I put so much stock in me being a published young adult author eventually, right? And that is the genre that I have really just poured all my hopes and dreams into. And I didn't even really start reading young adult fiction until I was an adult, like 18, 19, 20. I mean, I've read young adult books growing up, but it wasn't called young adult. This genre is definitely something that was birthed after the Twilight phenomenon, and it has taken on a life of its own. And that is honestly how impactful Twilight was, because it literally formed and solidified a whole genre that is now known as young adult, which growing up, I mean, we had those those coming of age stories, and those stories for people ages 12 through 17. But we didn't call it young adult fiction. And even the way the genre was and the way the books were written and the subject matter and the plots, it was completely different, you guys. It was so completely different. Like, I don't even know how to articulate it in an intelligent way. So I hope that it's somewhat coming across to y'all how different it was. For those of you who grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s, know exactly what I'm talking about. Until this Twilight phenomenon hit and sort of created this genre known as young adult, things were so different. The books that came after the Twilight craze kind of helped to support this new thing that we have right now. That's when I really started reading this genre, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the stories. I fell in love with all of the characters that I found and the plots, and a lot of the writers. I mean, there's some great writers in this genre. They're so talented. So many different types of writing and voices to be found. You can pretty much find your cup of tea in this genre, like whether you like more lyrical prose, more cut and dried, more factual, whether you like fantasy or science fiction or contemporary or whatever it is, whatever type of story, you can find it. Just like with other genres, but just go with me. So I really fell in love, and from that day forward, I just pictured myself. I was like, I'm going to be a young adult author. I'm so excited. Like, this is what I'm going to do. But the stories that I write do not involve young adults. They do, but not in that age range, not in that like 15, 16, 17 age range, right? Like that we read about in the genre. My protagonists tend to be 18 and up. And that's why I really appreciate the new adult genre and the fact that it's exploded in this last decade, because it's, I think, where I'm going to eventually find myself. And I appreciate that more authors that are popular young adult authors are making their way over to new adult because it's opening the door. Because new adult really was a genre that exploded and found a place on the what do you call it? Like the ebook market, you know? Like I remember when I got my first Kindle in 2011, there were so many books that you can download for free. And that's when I discovered the new adult genre. And that's really when it first started, you know? And you had the Colleen Hoovers and the Jamie Maguires, and they were like the OGs of the new adult genre. Like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I've been there from the beginning, not to be one of those people, but you know, when I got my Kindle and this ebook craze started and this ebook publishing thing started to just find its feet back in those days, you know, you had so many free like books that were free that you could just download. And that's when I found all of these authors, and that's when I discovered the genre of new adult, and that's when I fell in love with it. And I have been a new adult fangirl ever since. It is now my favorite genre. And it's that weird place where you have to separate reality from nostalgia and realize the truth of where you're in and stand in your truth. And for so many years, I'm like, young adult, young adult, young adult. Like to this day, like if you look at my shelves, like I would say a good 75% of the books are young adult books. I tend to buy those books hard copy. I tend to pre-order a lot of my faves, like my favorite authors, like the T.R. Moffeys and the Kristen Kishores and the, gosh, what's her name? Sarah Dessen, the OG of young adult. Freaking love her. Grew up reading her books. Love her to death. She actually doesn't live far from me here, where I live, which is kind of cool. I still have this dream that I will run into her one day in the grocery store. Hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet. But I'm putting that out into the universe. Yes. But anywho's, so I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, when you look at my shelves, like 75% of my books are young adult. I pre-order my favorite authors' books, and like I stand so hard for these authors and their works, and like I have so many hardbacks. Like I spend my hard-earned money. Like this is the genre I spend money in, and like I collect, you know. But then I'm starting to realize I don't really read this genre as much as I used to. When I reach for a book to read, I'm reaching for either a new adult book or an adult book, and here and there I reach for young adult. So it's like that's been my 2018, is like slowly coming to that realization and kind of having this like rude awakening of like separating nostalgia from reality and truth, and this is where you're at. Same thing with my writing, you know, realizing that I write new adult and it is okay. And I don't know if that will be something that will hinder me from being published, but honestly, that's why I'm so happy about these popular young adult authors making their way over to the new adult genre, like Sarah J. Maas. Like, if y'all don't know, the Court of Thorns and Roses series is a new adult series, and it's so widely popular. And I don't care what the opinions are. Like, I know it's a series that causes a lot of divide, right? People either love it or hate it. Like, it's hardly a middle ground for those that have read that series. But she's opening that door, right? And more popular authors are making their way over to the new adult genre. Yes, there are many, many popular new adult writers, you know, like the Colleen Hoovers and the Jamie Maguires I've mentioned before. But like I said, a lot of their popularity has been grown and formulated on the e-book platform and with e-publishing and independent publishing. And few of them, like Colleen Hoover and Jamie Maguire, have managed to make the crossover to traditional publishing because they were so wildly popular on their own, doing their own thing, self-publishing on e-platforms like Amazon, that the traditional publishing world couldn't help but take notice, right? Because they're going to follow the money. They're going to follow the dollars. And they're like, oh my God, these people are blowing up. They're so popular. We want this for ourselves. And so they co-opted those authors and brought them into traditional publishing, and here you are. But there are many, 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 many popular new adult authors that are doing it on their own and self-publishing. And unless you are heavily invested and aware of what's going on in the e-publishing world, unless you are an ebook reader yourself and own a Kindle or a Nook or, you know, whatever device, iPad, you are largely unaware of this like huge thing that's going on, or you are aware, but you are not as involved, right? So these are just the thoughts that I've been having as I've been writing the story, realizing the changes that I've been going through as a writer, moving over from the young adult genre and realizing I was never really in that genre to begin with, and realizing the stories that I'm writing and, you know, what box they're going to be put in. I hate being put in a box in general, but they're going to try to put you in a box. You want to be published, they're going to try to put you in a box because they need to sell you. They need to sell your product. They need to market you to someone. And that's where the box comes in. So just some thoughts. Deep Mala says, why does everyone love Rainbow Rowell? You're also smitten by her work. I have mixed feelings about Rainbow Rowell. I remember reading Eleanor and Park back during the wild, like, craze that was going on for that book when it first came out. Really enjoyed it. I think that was one of my favorite books of 2014. Like, that book touched me deeply. And then I went on to read Fangirl. I mean, everyone was obsessed with Fangirl, and to be honest with you, it was a very enjoyable reading experience. I'm not going to lie. But the story didn't really stay with me. Like, I don't think about picking it up and rereading it. I'm not like, oh, this classic Fangirl. It was an enjoyable read. And then she has Attachments, which I own but have never read. I've tried multiple times to read it. Hasn't happened yet. And then what's the one that people love? Oh, gosh, I can't remember it. With Simon and Baz. It like started off as a fan fiction and Fangirl, and it became its own book. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. I have several copies of that book. Ironically, I have like the actual original hardback, and then I have like a special edition. And I was on that bandwagon for a while, but it was more like I was supporting her because I still haven't read that book, despite owning several copies of it. To this day, still haven't read it. I know people love it. So I have mixed feelings about Rainbow Rowell. I really appreciate her as a writer. Is she overrated? I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I think she definitely has a place. You know, people love her. So I ain't got no beef with Rainbow Rowell. She's cool with me. Cursed Runway said, did they need to cross over? Talking about the new adult authors that have crossed over. Yes and no, right? Because that's when you have to weigh the pros and cons of self-publishing versus traditional publishing. You can be completely successful as a self-published author as long as you are willing to put in upfront your own money, right? You got to put upfront your own money to make sure that the work that you're putting out there matches the quality of published books, meaning there's no typos and editing errors, meaning the formatting is A1, meaning the cover design is A1, meaning like it's just pleasing to the eye that if someone wants to order a physical copy, they're going to get it. It's not going to feel like some cheaply made like thing that someone did for like their English project, right? So you got to put in those upfront costs. You got to get someone to edit it, get someone to copy edit it, get someone to format it, get someone to design a beautiful cover, all that jazz. Then, and of course, you know, you want to make sure the story is actually good. Then those are the upfront costs. Then there are other upfront costs with marketing, right? You gotta want to market yourself. You want to be able to like open up social media platforms and promote yourself on your Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, you want to be able to get out there and get your book out to the hands of bloggers and other YouTubers and bookstagrammers. I mean, I could go on. So it's like there's so many levels to this when it comes to self-publishing. And if you are a deeply introverted person and you dislike the legwork of speaking to people and connecting with people, networking, that is the key word, networking, self-publishing is not for you because it requires you to put so much of yourself out there that unless you have a spouse or a partner or a business partner or someone who is willing to really like help you out with that side of things, don't self-publish. It requires a lot of the author. And if you don't have it to give, either financially, mentally, or emotionally, self-publishing is not going to work for you, right? But for those that do, they do very well, right? It's a marketing machine. You have to be very good at marketing and very smart and strategic, or at least have someone standing next to you or behind you that can help you out with those things. that's the thing about self-publishing people don't realize. It's a lot of self-promotion, and you have to be able to get your book out there, get it into the hands of the people that will get it into the hands of other people, right? Now, when it comes to traditional publishing, a lot of us writers choose to go that route because, like I just said, we don't want to put forward that legwork and that emotional, mental, physical, and financial energy behind that. Either we don't have it to give or we just don't wish to do so. If you're introverted or you're dealing with mental health issues or even just physical health issues, it may not be a feasible option for you. If you have barely 2 pennies to rub together, it's definitely not going to be a feasible option for you. So you go the traditional publishing route, which has some costs personally, with marketing again, but it's not as much as with self-publishing. With traditional publishing, more than anything, even if you are not able to get your book out into a wide market, right? It depends on what's popular in the market, what the kids are reading these days, or what we are reading, but you know what I mean. The publishing house, the agent that you get, the editor that you get, the publishing house that buys your book, how they plan to promote your book, all of those things go into it. But then with traditional publishing, there is also the chance that your book will get out to more people, right? You have people whose books are really, really popular in other countries. Their book might be doing okay here in America, but their book is doing amazing in Canada, or amazing in Denmark or Switzerland, if you're able to get those rights and if you're able to get your publishing house to want you to publish in those markets. So you have to weigh your pros and cons. I've done a ton of research, so that is why I have chosen the traditional publishing route, because I have made the decision to basically weigh those pros and cons and make the decision of what works best for me. And that's what every writer has to do. You have to do a lot of research, find out for yourself, make a pros and cons list, and make the choice and the decision that works best for you. Nobody else can make that decision. Hey, Ted. Self-publishing sounds like such a holiday homework. Okay. Catherine says she's also a child of the 80s. What up, Catherine? Yes, 80s babies. Let's see. John Green. Also talking about... Honestly, I can't speak too much on John Green. Have I ever read a John Green novel? No. That's why I can't speak on him. I read or skimmed, what was that one that was really popular a couple years ago about the kids that had terminal illness? Sometimes I can remember the name of it, sometimes I can't. That seems to be his most popular book. It was made into a film. But yeah, that's I've read that. I've read the first couple chapters, skimmed the rest, and I was like, this book is not for me. The writing is pretentious as hell, and teenagers don't speak like this, and oh my God, why? So, Fault in Our Stars. There we go. I haven't even seen the film. Yeah, I can't really speak on John Green. Seems like a lovely man. I love his channel. Him and his brother. Love the channel. Can't speak on his writing too much. Let's see. Catherine says, though most promotion will probably come from the publisher who picks up my book. Yes, Catherine, I understand why you're going with traditional publishing. Ted says, I'm still in the process of looking for an agent. As a screenwriter, I realistically need one to find work. Yeah, definitely as a screenwriter for sure. I don't know as much about the screenwriting process, but I know that one for a fact. Jolene says, Paper Towns was so bad. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people say Paper Towns is bad. I've heard people say An Abundance of Catherines is their favorite John Green novel. I feel like he's an acquired taste. I feel as though his writing style is for those who are who fancy themselves a little bit more of an intellectual bent, like people who are like, oh, yes, I read young adult, but I read a young adult that reads like Shakespearean tragedies, the fuck, I don't know. That's how I feel about him and his writing style from what I've read. But again, I have not read a lot of his books, cover to cover, page to page, so I don't like speaking on him, just like I don't like speaking on Rainbow Rowell. I don't like speaking on authors that I have not thoroughly read their books. That's why I feel so comfortable speaking on Colleen Hoover, because I have read most of her books. So I feel 100% comfortable speaking on her. Ted was trying to be nice. Ted, I was trying to be nice, says Jolene. Ted said Paper Towns was awful. Jolene says, have you seen the trailer for After? Okay, let's discuss the trailer for After. Let's have a moment, okay? Because it all started when NANOWRIMO did a video about After. She did a rant review, right? So, backstory. I have been meaning to read After for years now. Years. Because when a story blows up on Wattpad, you're kind of like, good for the author, because now she's literally made her dream come true, and that's also my dream, not to be like a Wattpad author, but to have her level of success, like completely by chance, right? She puts something on Wattpad, like it gets so many clicks and so many people read it that the publishing houses literally come running to her and are like, oh my God, please let us publish your book. Like, who, as a writer, who would want that? So kudos to you, lady. Great job. That piqued my interest in After. For years, I tried to find the whole series on Book Outlet, but I would find like the first book in the third or the first book in the fifth. And I don't even know how many books there are in that series. But I'm the kind of person that if I had been able to find on Book Outlet the first 3 books, I would have bought them. But the fact that I could only find the first and the third or the first and the fourth, like I never got around to buying them. But I figured I would read them one day, right? Well, then Mayana does her video. And I'm like, okay, now I'm even more intrigued. And then I watch, I don't know if you guys are aware of the booktuber Lovely Like Laura. I've been watching her for years. Such a sweet, bubbly, I hate the word bubbly, such a sweet, genuine, like, girl, right? Been watching her forever. She is obsessed with this series. I feel like her channel on BookTube is like the channel for After, like updates, After reviews, like anything After. Go to Lovely Like Laura's channel because she definitely either has a book review on it or reaction or whatever. So she came out with her video reacting to the After trailer. So I saw the trailer via her reaction video. My opinion after watching that was like, wow, this movie's going to be really shitty. Like, people like to shit on the Twilight movies, which, by the way, I love. Don't come for me. Don't at me. Don't care. I love Twilight books. I love the Twilight films. We're not going to discuss that more in this video. This is not the video to defend Twilight. But I was like, wow, and people like to shit on Twilight. This movie is going to be so shitty. But I'm so happy for her excitement, right? She's a fan of After, so good for her. Then what put the cherry on top was watching Reads with Cindy's reaction video to the After trailer and her reenactment. I about lost it. If y'all have not seen that video, please go watch that. You will thank me later because I laughed my ass off. That shit was hilarious. But I was just like, yeah, okay. Meanwhile, in the middle of all this happening, I definitely downloaded a sample chapter of After on my Kindle because your girl went and looked for the book. And when I saw that it was $8.99 or some shit, I was like, no, I'm not spending $8.99 on this. No. So I have been struggle busting my way through the first chapter of After. It is god awful, you guys. I feel so bad saying that because, like I said, I'm so happy for this author. Like, good for her. Oh God. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Like, a part of me is like, I want to do this for my channel and I want to do this for you guys to read this book and then like talk about it. And I mean, y'all know rant reviews are the new wave. Everyone loves watching them. I think everyone just loves watching booktubers finally being honest about bad books or badly written books. It's like, finally, someone is telling the truth about this trash. But After is bad. Like, I'm not one to DNF. Like, I think I've DNF'd like 5 books my whole life. Zenith being one, which is why I had to do a whole video on it. But After might make it onto the list because I can't even get past chapter. I think I'm in chapter 2 now. And I can't even take myself seriously when I'm reading it. Like, I'm literally like, am I for real reading this book right now and taking it seriously? Because I can't. I don't even know what to say. And she just met the love interest. So apparently it was like a One Direction fanfic. That's how it started, like with this girl and Harry Styles. And then it's morphed into this. And the only thing I could think of, because she's already met the guy, whatever his name is. I think it starts with the H. Hudson. I don't know, dude. Already forgot. I don't even remember the girl's name. Okay, that's how badly this reading experience is going right now. And I'm just reading the sample. Didn't even buy the book. But the only thing I could think of when I was reading is I'm so sick and tired of these young adult slash new adult books being written glorifying these asshole dudes. Like, I mean, the whole premise of the book is like she's this straight laced, like very type A personality girl who has everything planned out for her and is very boring. She's boring as hell, y'all. Boring as hell. Which, I mean, don't make your main protagonist so boring. Like you're trying to make her relatable, but in fact she's so boring that it's like watching paint dry, and it's actually painful to read from her point of view. Like I don't want to read a POV of someone that's literally boring as hell. Like what's the point? But anyways, apparently the point of the book is that she's so boring and straight-laced and all these other stereotypes and virginal. Let's not forget. Gotta put that one in there. And she meets this guy who's like chatted up and rough and bad boy and edgy, and he changes her life. Probably like by treating her like shit, which adds to why I don't want to continue reading this. But it's fine. I'll do it for you guys. Can you see how angry I am already? And this is only the sample, and I'm only on like chapter 3 or 2. How am I gonna finish this? How am I gonna continue? After, you know what After is gonna do? After is gonna encourage me to get back into my library flow. I'm a huge fan of the public library, and I've kind of stopped going recently because I love buying books because I'm a book collector. But After is gonna force me to whip back out my library card and dust it off, because there's no way I'm buying this bullshit. I can't do it. I'm not gonna spend my hard-earned coins on this. I will have to borrow these books from the library and probably borrow the ebooks from the library because that's more convenient. But yeah, I'm just tired. I'm tired of these like bad boys, and I'm not against bad boys, right? But they have to be written well. Like bad boys are now written as these caricature of evil villains. So you're falling in love with the villain, is what you're telling me, and I'm supposed to be swooning and saying couple goals. This guy is literally mean as hell, rude, insulting, like mocks you, laughs at things you do. Then you have like the physical bullying, the guy that like trips you or pulls your hair, or oh, let's not forget the infamous like high school scene where the hot guy who's edgy and the bad boy, you walk down the hallway and he's making fun of you with his friends. Ooh, so swoony. And then you end up with him? Girl, how? Stop glorifying toxic relationships and toxic dudes. And it's giving bad boys a bad rep. You know, it's like just because a guy has tattoos and wears leather or is goth style or drives a motorcycle or skateboards or whatever you want to call it, skate culture, motorcycle culture, whatever, does not make him a bad person. There's a difference between a bad boy, which is basically just going against societal norms, right? Bad boy, edgy, ooh, I'm wearing a leather jacket, I have tattoos. Oh, society norms, I'm going against you. It's a full-on rant. I'm so sorry, you guys, but I'm pissed. Like, demonizing bad boys who could very well be very good boys slash good men, nice, polite, friendly, just living their lives how they want to, just because they're going against the grain of society, does not mean that they're bullies, abusers, emotional or physical, toxic, mean, rude. Like, I'm just like, when did these things become synonymous? Because I don't know about y'all, but when I was in high school, I was friends with the skaters. I was friends with the goths. I was that girl that was friends with everyone. Some of my best guy friends were skater, goths, guys that had tattoos, like perfectly nice, sweet dudes. So cool. A lot of them had like great home lives with very understanding and like cool parents or guardians that allow them to just be themselves. And I'm just like, when did we start to stand this culture of a bad boy, right? The image of a bad boy being synonymous with someone who's literally the devil himself. That annoys me. And I'm angry for men and bad boys. Like, I'm taking up for them. And it's just gotten old, right? And then he changes for her, but not after treating her like shit and putting her through the ringer. And I also hate that narrative of why do women have to be put through the ringer to earn a man's love or to outlast all the bullshit that he does to her, all of the hurt and the pain, whether emotional or physical, that he puts her through, the cheating and abuse and the stringing along. And like, why do women have to, or girls, have to outlast this behavior, right? oh, you're a real one, or you're a down ass bitch, or like, oh yes, Bonnie and Clyde, like all this shit. Like you have to outlast like all this pain and like withstand all of this bullshit to make it to the end, to be with this guy who has learned from hurting you and doing all these horrible things to you and is changed for the better. And he's a better man now because of you. Fuck that. Let's see. I just went on a long rant and I am so sorry, guys, but I had to get that out. It's getting on my nerves. Harden. Thank you. That's the name of the dude. I had to get that out. I feel so much better now. But yeah. Let's see. Apple Tree says, are you going to do live write-ins outside of NaNoWRIMO? I would love for you to do some. Yes, I will. Probably not until the new year, though, because the holidays are going to get very busy for me. And after NaNoWRIMO, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I will be taking a break from writing, probably, and from this story. The holidays are very busy in my household, and I would like to enjoy them with my family. And yeah, but I would love to do some write-ins. I will do them in the new year. Let's see. Someone says they've read Twilight is writer's research. That's funny. I don't know, guys. It's getting late. It's getting up to an hour almost. So I think I'm going to end this live. I just want to cut it short. I don't know how much longer I can. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. My energy is running low. We'll put it that way. But yes, I'm going to end this live right here. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to take this moment to say that I'm very thankful for each and every single one of you who has watched my videos, who is here on this live with me, who will watch this video after it's posted because you couldn't join us. I'm thankful for all my new subscribers. I'm just very thankful and very grateful for this space, for this platform. It has definitely gotten me through some dark days, and I couldn't be more grateful and thankful for all of you. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope everyone has a very successful last 4 days of NaNoWRIMO. And just know that you are the one that can determine the measure of your success with this. And as long as you have more words written than what you started with, that is a success in my book, okay? But yes, I'm going to go ahead and end this live and wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me on here. It's been a wonderful hour talking with all of you. And I know the comments are still going, but I'm just going to go ahead and end it. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will catch you guys. Well, I will catch you guys around. You are more than welcome to follow me on all my social medias. I love talking to you guys on there. I know me and Deepmala and me and Catherine talk on there all the time. So you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Instagram. That's the one social media platform that I am the most active on. I have a Twitter, but I don't really use it. And I guess YouTube. And I never use Facebook at all. So yeah, I will have my social medias links in the description as always. And I guess I will catch you guys around either on social media or in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye, guys. Mwah. Have a great evening. Bye. Happy last 4 days of Nano. We made it.